What's up? This is Keith Kelfis with I Am Ability. Never mind the crappy video quality. Um, I'm just kind of laying here in bed, and I thought of something I want to share with you, and it has to do with getting yourself out of a slump, or out of depression, or out of low energy, or out of a negative spot, or negative energies running through you. I'm really deep into the weird stuff, the spiritual stuff, the chakras, anything having to do. I believe in aliens and demons, all that weird shit. But I want to say one of the quickest things that you can do to get out of a negative slump, because I just got out of one myself, is saging yourself and your whole house. I don't know if that works for sure, but and then the first thing you could do is change your diet. So getting into like fruits and vegetables and organic foods, getting away from corporate foods, getting away from fast foods, and eat a lot, drink a lot of fluids and liquids, take baths of salt and Epsom salt, clear negative toxic people or things out of your life, and it'll be like it'll get worse before it gets better. But I think that changing the diet is one of the fastest things you can do. And also choosing to move towards the light at the end of the tunnel and lining up everything. So lining up your diet, your mind, your spirit, your emotions, getting rid of toxic energies or people, and then healing, and then choosing love. There's an amazing book I just thought of by Barbara DeAngelis called The Choice for Love. And things like that. Sometimes when you go through hell and you go through very low negative spots, it's something called ego death. It feels like you're dying. You feel like you're being ripped apart. It's very painful, like a snake shedding its skin. You can go through terrible, torturous nightmare. It's like every waking moment feels like a nightmare, and you feel like you're dying, like you're being ripped apart. It's a living hell. But what if you were really just shedding an old part and moving to a new chapter of your life? What if you saw it that way? As, the fears you're going through is, don't let that stuff traumatize you and stick with you. Try to shake it off and hit rock bottom as fast as possible without causing any negativity to anybody else. But the faster I believe you can kind of hit rock bottom and get to resolution, like you make certain resolutions, you learn those hard lessons. You come to a resolution about certain things that you stop fighting. So I think sitting on the fence and having inner conflict and inner battles, like wanting to do one thing and not, or maybe, I don't know, wanting to start a project, or maybe you're sick of where you're at in your life, or you're in some dead-end job or something, and you want to start a business, but you're terrified you're going to lose everything. There comes a certain point where you've been pushed so far to the edge that now you're off the edge and you're hanging by your fingertips, suffering, and it gets to a certain point where it's just easier to let go and free fall into infinity. Coach Rob talks about this shit, man. He talks about free falling into infinity. It feels like you're dying. But when you can stop fighting and resisting it, that's the most amazing place you can be, because now you're surfing the wave. You learn how to surrender moment by moment. Surrender moment by moment and come back to the now. And even Eckhart Tolle talks about this. You can be in a state of pure conscious bliss and love and gratitude in the present moment. And then all suffering just dissipates. And then you wake up. And from that very state of conscious presence, your entire body, your immune system, the cells down to the subatomic and energetic levels start to just heal themselves and reorganize and restructure in phi, in equanimity, in synchronicity, in the Fibonacci sequence. The wobble is restored to center of balance. And I think from that place, only that deepest level of serenity, which means sometimes you have to have a breakdown in order to have a breakthrough. I got a buddy named Scotty that says that. Sometimes you have to have a breakdown in order to have a breakthrough. In order to reach hyperspeed, I mean, you have to shed, right? When the NASA space shuttle's lifting off, I mean, it has like 3/4 of this thing is just huge booster rockets and a big bomb strapped to it and all this weight just for the first like 2 minutes or something. And it reaches like, what is it, 26,000 miles per hour and how many miles? 20 miles above Earth. I don't know what it is, but it's a lot. And then it has to shed that stuff off, right? Well, what if all our old beliefs and ideals and patterns are holding us back, and those habits become so painful that we have to just shed and get rid of it, right? I want you to do a breathing exercise. Take a deep breath. Deep, deep, deep breath. Hold it for 2 seconds. Consciously. Exhale out of your mouth. Deep breath in through your nose. If you yawn, yawning is a sign of tension release. Get rid of that anxiousness. The amygdala, the parts of your brain that the fight or flight, release these neuropeptides that you literally become addicted to, which is like you become addicted to the trauma and the stress, and will actually subconsciously engineer situations that get us or other people stressed out so we can get that hit of that drug, that dopamine hit or that neuropeptide hit. We become addicted to that suffering, and it's a cycle that becomes a ritual. And the ritual is not the state, because we're trying to get to a certain state of consciousness, which is like a state of peace, like a false peace, right? So if you can get that hit of validation, you get that dopamine hit. Maybe you have to get in a fight with somebody. See, I don't even want to go down that path, but like what I mean is it happens all little subtle sorts of ways. See, there's gross, subtle, and causal consciousness, and there's different lines, levels, states, and stages of consciousness as well. And we can get really highly developed in a specific stage of consciousness where we're repeating the same states over and over, but we're not growing to different levels and different we're not developing the different lines of consciousness. So we can get really tuned in one area but be very, very weak and underdeveloped in another area. And that's not right or wrong or good or bad. It's just relative to your experience and the experience others are having of you. But I think that we can experience suffering and cause unnecessary suffering in other people, hold back others and our own evolution by not being aware of this stuff. You know anybody in your life who's like older now? They're at the last quarter of their life or the last 2/3 of their life or whatever, you know what I mean? And they're just very underdeveloped in certain areas, right? But they could be very wise in other areas. And I just think that, that's not right or wrong. But when you begin to see that you can choose, you can choose. Maybe I don't want to keep going down this direction. Let's start carving the path in a new direction. Let's start widening the horizons. It's going to take change, which is breaking your routine. Carlos Castaneda, Don Juan, hunting is like, how can you hunt somebody? By realizing its rituals and patterns. Its routine is how you hunt against the routine. And that the invisible, which cannot be hunted, is that does not have a routine. When you break free of your neuroassociative society, media, all these conditioning patterns, it's very hard to do. And I think that meditation is one of the best ways to do it, which is literally developing times that you meditate and mindfulness to get out of all this stuff. And the reason I can talk about it is because I've experienced both. I'm sitting on the fence. Very, very a lot of suffering with my routines, ADD type stuff, A guy named Wyatt Woodsmall talks about shit like this. And then there's another part that knows how to do mindfulness. So it's funny when you know what you're supposed to do and you know what you should do, but you can't get yourself to do it. I think that's the biggest thing with all this, is getting yourself to do it. And I think it really starts with letting go. Okay, cool, I'm going to end this video. We're moving on 10 minutes now, and it's really weird that I'm just sitting here, but hey, I'm going to upload it anyways. Okay, cool. Peace out. Please hit the subscribe button. Well, don't hit it if you don't want to. I'm unattached. It wasn't a trick. But yeah, hit the subscribe button and check out the playlist. There's more videos. Hit the thumbs up button and let me know what you think in the comments below. And if there's any authors or meditational speakers you like, let me know. And also I'll put a link in the description below for David McGraw. He's an amazing hypnotherapist that I subscribe to and I listen to, and the guy's amazing. I'm actually about to listen to him right now after this video. I'll put a link in the description below. You're going to love it. All right, peace.